Hello viewers and welcome to Intriguing Megalithic Perspectives. Several years ago I did a video on the one lintel that has been found out of the 15 missing lintels here at Sacsayhuaman. And last year I decided to go back to Cusco, back here to Manco Capac's palace, and to take a closer look at that stone, which looks like it's the middle third of a longer lintel. Cut up, the other halves were used, and then it was rolled down that hill. Sacsayhuaman is at the top of the hill from Manco Capac's palace. So in this video, I want to show you the 4K footage that I now have, and I want to show you where the other 14 lintels are. Let's get started. And here it is, the upside down lintel. That's a bigger stone than I remember. And yes, this has been saw cut on this edge. It's unlike anything else that you see. But what do you make of this shape? What do you make of this shape? When you turn it upside down, these are hands.
And the head wasn't there before.
This is a right hand, and this over here is the left hand. You can still see the fingers. These are the knees, and this is where the head would go, sitting right in here.
Let's go find the head.
This is a knee, and the feet used to stick out. It looks to me like a man with his head stuck in a pillory. Look at this. Could this be the square hinge of the pillory? This side, the round locking mechanism has been knocked off. Hammered off. But now, so that's the upside down view. When I come back to normal, this is how it's sitting here today. This is the bottom edge of the round pillory, and this could be a shoe. Top of a foot anyways. And this corner was simply knocked off, so this corner probably matched that one. This is a flat cut edge made by a steel saw. But this is unlike anything, and it doesn't look at all Spanish, and it looks either Incan or something is pre-Incan. And up there is Sacsayhuaman. Now let me just interrupt here for a moment, then we'll get back to the 4K footage. In the 1800s, the Peruvians, as they were building Cusco, had at the top of the hill all the stones that the Inca didn't already move down into the valley. The stones that weighed well over 5 tons. Stones that were 15 feet long, the larger stones. Well, then the introduction of steel came along, steel cutting saws, and that enabled them to cut those bigger stones even further than the damage that had been done to the Sacsayhuaman palace itself, the fortress itself, and those stones were brought down here. So this stone that's down here could have been a longer stone, and somebody decided to keep the middle section, and the ends were used in bridges, churches, and everything else throughout Cusco. And this structure right here, I think, it's just amazingly well cut. But this could have been moved down here from the top of the hill by the Inca. That wouldn't surprise me. They could position and reposition things without any trouble. But I think still, this is definitely a center cut of a lintel. I mean, the back line is curved. You could see that it's curved. It's not a saw cut. The top has a dip to it, so it's not a saw cut. It's as if it's from softened stone. But when you look at the sides, That side is saw cut, as is this side. The sides, anything where you see a flat, perfect flat edge, to me that's a saw cut. And this thing is rounded on all sides. I don't mean just the chipped off part, but you know, the carving of it. If the Inca could do this, that's fine, but then why would the Inca have this area here? Somebody should take like a little micro sample of what is still in the rock here, and I'll bet it was some kind of precious metal, whether it's bronze or gold. Somebody should truly study this rock, because I think this is a lintel and it's upside down. Now the trick is we need to find the other one. When I first visited the Inca fortress called Sacsayhuaman, I noticed the same thing that everybody notices about this supposed fortress, that the monstrous stone entranceways have never had any doors, no hinge marks, no doors. And now, unfortunately, they no longer have their lintels. 15 monstrous entranceways, none with their original lintels. They have been long since pillaged. I hope that you have watched my previous illustrated video from 2020, in which I theorized that outsiders would never even climb this hill, knowing that what was at the top was simply terrifying. Foreigner or animal alike, nope, not going up there or in there. And when I went to Sacsayhuaman just last year, I noticed an additional obvious discussion point, but I'll get to that at the end of this video. The lost lintel is upside down and sitting on a small stone pedestal behind the church of San Cristobal. It's an ancient carved granite pre-Inca lintel, and it's at the bottom of Sacsayhuaman, which is now well known to be pre-Inca. Actual age unknown. So, where are the other lintels? Well, that's where we come to the second discussion point about Sacsayhuaman, and that is that the second wall is obviously twice as tall as the first wall. If you've been there, then you know what I mean. There are several thousands of tons of fill in there, and it's time to find out what's been buried in there. This is all landfill here. In the lower sections, you can see the inside of the outer wall. And you can see the ancient stonework down at the bottom, but everything from 4 feet up is placed. What I'm curious about is what's underneath all of these steps. I think there's more clearly there's more megalithic wall right in this area.
Behind and under it?
Yep. I think if they excavated all of this, they would find these walls go down further. This whole thing is fill. We are standing on what I think it's fill. It disappears into and under the Inca steps. It's all fill. It's time to uncover the original floor line of Sacsayhuaman. I can't believe it hasn't been done yet. Just take a 100-foot wide section right about here. What's in there? I'll bet there's a lot to be found and a lot to learn about here. Not only some of the other 14 missing lintels and tools and bones, but also carbon-datable items like charcoal and tool handles. For the common good of human history, why isn't the Peruvian government interested in the pre-Inca history that will be found once just a small portion of Sacsayhuaman is very carefully excavated to the original design? So if you can imagine Sacsayhuaman with all of that fill removed and exposing the original floor line, what would be the design intent of such a structure and who made it? Well, we know it's not made by the Inca. It was well before their time. It's not a fortress because the doors don't have any hinges, and it's not a moat of some type. It would hold a lot of water, but it would all pour out of the southern end. What is the design intent of that structure? Well, if you've seen a video that I published a couple years ago called The Ugly Truth about Hatun Rumiak, which is doing well on YouTube, it suggests, and it's been controversial, I've gotten some very interesting responses and a lot of people who really like that video, but it gives you an idea what I think was going on in the Cusco Valley a couple thousand years ago. And when I picture Sacsayhuaman as being this angled, tall, walled structure that works its way around what is clearly a citadel, and a couple of doors that are up above looking down, what I see is an assembly line where items come in from one end, whether it's cattle or equipment or whatever it is during that season needs to be processed. And in and along the way, I mean, picture it with a roof over it, like so many other structures like Göbekli Tepe that are now being illustrated with a roof over it. Put a roof over that zigzag system where you can put some equipment in the corners when you're not using them, pull them out when you are using them, and then to have an assembly way that runs all the way down, and when something is done, you let it out that next door, or that next door, or that next door. To me, that is what I see when I look at those large walls in a 600 or 700 foot area. It's a housed-in working area, a main street assembly area that is useful all year long, rain or snow or wind or rain. I already said rain, but you get the picture. What we need to do, and I just don't understand at this point that it hasn't been done, is that one segment of the wall be cleaned out so we can take a look at that actual floor line that existed Lord knows how far back. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and share, hit the button at the bottom, make any comments you like. I look forward to your comments. And thank you for watching this video to the end. And remember, always keep an open mind.